Yo guys, what's going on? It's Acez here today with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys the best way to get long shots in Modern Warfare. I was searching up on YouTube best way, and it's literally the second most searched thing on YouTube, best way to get long shots in Modern Warfare. So I'm like, I gotta make a video on this in case you guys are still wondering. I'm sure there's still many people trying to get gold on all their weapons, trying to get obsidian and Damascus and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna make a long shot guide for every single weapon class here in Modern Warfare. Gonna point out a couple tips for certain weapons, certain game modes to play with certain attachments. Gonna try and do my best to cover all my bases here in the video today, so let's hop right into it. Guys, we're gonna start with the assault rifles. FAL and FR 5.56. Definitely try these guys in hardcore because at those long ranges they're still gonna one shot, and the FR 5.56 you can actually switch the select fire on it to single shot just like the FAL instead of a 3-round burst. That'll make long shots a lot easier in the hardcore modes, but if you are playing core, you're just going to have to kind of build a nice attachment setup for the assault rifles. And I'm going to show you a good one you can use on most of these assault rifles, including the Ram 7 and the GRA, which are some of the new assault rifles in Modern Warfare. So we're going to start with the Kilo. I'm going to use the top weapon for everybody just because it's like, you know, the top one. If it's a new player coming into the game, this is what you guys would use. But guys, I do want to say one disclaimer. You're going to want to have your levels on your weapons pretty high because some of these weapons are going to be recommending using high-powered scopes, and some people won't have those scopes, and that's going to be definitely a deterrent in getting some long shots. Now, I don't know what level you're going to be once you unlock the splinter camo for assault rifles, and then some of the weapons further along down the line, like marksman rifles and sniper rifles. The long shot kills are for topo, but you know, I would say probably in the 30s range. I would assume most assault rifles are around 60s, 70s, so I would assume splinter unlocks around 30. I don't know when you're going to get some high-powered scopes, but I definitely wanted to tell you guys that little disclaimer. So we're just using the Kilo for example, and I'm just going to build a really plain generic class for you guys that I would use for some long shots. Let's see what we got here. So we'll probably rock with something like this for long shots. Now, I would recommend using this class right here. You know, you could change it up a little bit if you don't like that super slow ADS speed. This is to help with recoil using that sniper scope at long ranges. You can change it around as much as you'd like, but this is a really good start. If you guys play a lot of ground war, the ground war maps are huge. They are super big maps. There's a lot of other big maps. You could play 10v10 modes in core. You could play 10v10 modes in hardcore. There's a lot of good options for you guys out there. You just got to know what you're doing, what class setups to run, etc. So here's one example. The sniper scope is going to help you a ton in doing these long shots because you're going to have that long visibility range and get a lot of hits on targets far out. If using this in ground war, it's definitely going to be great. Guys, if you're playing on maps like Shoot House, really the only place you can get long shots on Shoot House is using the wall head glitches right at both spawns. You have to get somebody who's also using that wall head glitch. You know, shooting wall to wall, that's a long shot for most weapons. But if you're playing ground war, almost anywhere is a long shot. So that is what I would recommend for my main game mode for you guys, ground war. So here is one example of a class for assault rifles. This would pretty much work for almost every assault rifle, but if you're not really a fan of the sniper scope and you want something a little bit better, then let's build another class. We're going to start with our optics first. You could use the variable zoom as well. It has a less powerful first zoom option and a more powerful second zoom option. You could use an option like the canted hybrid, which is a 3.25x, and then you have a regular mini red dot on the side. You could also go with a thermal scope, but guys, what I actually use a lot is the, let's find it here, the VLK3X optic. I really like this one, and I don't know why. It kind of reminds me of the ACOG because there's no ACOG in this game that we have yet anyway. I doubt they'll add any optics in the future, but I really miss the ACOG sights, man, especially just having some Black Ops 2 vibes with the M27 and an ACOG. Good times. But we are here now with the VLK, and I really like this one. So if we had to build another class around this, you know, something a little more medium range, we could probably do something like this, try not to affect our movement speed. Let's see, maybe put some stipple grip tape on here and then put some sort of different stock on here. Maybe something like this. This is a decent build. You could go with something close to this. You didn't want to mess with your stock, you can go to attack laser. You want to touch more range, you can go with the monolithic. You could also go with the longer barrel if you want some extra weight to the weapon. There's a lot of things to do, but you definitely need a scope. Your optic is pretty much your best friend here when going for long shots. That is what I'm trying to get across For the assault rifles, I definitely recommend the sniper scope. You guys have it there, you might as well take advantage of it. So we're going to move on to the SMGs. So moving on to the SMG, we're just going to start with the MP5, pretty much the universal submachine gun in my opinion. But guys, same thing applies here. Optics. Now, for the MP5's case, you definitely don't need an optic to map somebody with it, but it's not bad to throw on a GI Mini. We're not necessarily going to throw on the VLK, and we'll take a look at that for a couple submachine guns, but for the MP5, you could stick with the GI Mini. This GI Mini reflex really helps your sight picture a lot more than you might think. Over range, it's very, very nice. If you guys need an MP5 class for range, we would probably be looking at like a monolithic suppressor. If you wanted a little close quarters, you know, just in case, you go with the Merc foregrip for some hip firing. Definitely put on your 10 mil rounds, whatever will give you a bigger damage buff at any kind of range. You want to go for that 100%. And let's see what else we could put on here. Probably some stipple grip tape to give us a little faster ADS. This would be a nice class to get some long shots with for sure. But in any other cases, I also want to hop back really quick into the assault rifles. The M4 has these SOCOM rounds. You guys have most likely seen my M4 sniper video. It has like 1.1 million views. If you haven't checked that out, it's a great long shot class, but these will help you with your long shots as well. Any weapon that has any ammunition doing increased damage is going to help you in these challenges, such as the AUG. We have the 5.56. This ammo will help you get kills a lot quicker over big ranges, and the AUG actually has an insane long barrel here for some really big ranges, and then it also even has its own little optic here, but you could also use that 4x flip. Not a bad one either. So the submachine guns is pretty much the same story, just build something that's going to give you a nice amount of range with the attachments. You know, long barrels, you want to stick with those. You want to stick, you know, try and keep your recoil down so you can hit those shots, get those quick kills, get yourself a nice optic on the, you know, longer range submachine guns. You could use on the AUG the 3x VLK, but on like the MP5, that's a, you know, really high fire rate, just put on like a GI Mini. You want that precision sight picture. It's really going to help you with these long shots. Let's see if we have any exceptions in here. Not really. The Striker 45, you could consider using the hollow point rounds, but I really wouldn't recommend it. It's only a 12 round magazine, so it's kind of tough to get those long shot kills. Shotguns, there is no long shot requirement for getting gold. It is point blank for those, so obviously they don't apply to this video. The LMGs, they're pretty darn easy to get long shots with, just because the damage fall off on LMGs really is kind of non-existent. You could even stick with iron sights on these if you're playing on ground war. Just make sure you're focusing on the longer barrels and recoil control on these guys. Now if you're playing hardcore, you can focus on a mobility class. Since they're going to pretty much one shot at any range, you can still stick with iron sights and you'll be good to go. I really don't have any recommendations for the LMGs personally, because they are really simple in my opinion. But if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in a comment and I will be happy to answer them. So moving on to the marksman rifles. Now this one is kind of up for debate. You know, a lot of people will say, you know, use a sniper scope. Some people will say use a 3x scope, because the EBR, for example, is pretty much a really high fire rate. I wouldn't call it, you know, a marksman rifle. I would kind of call it a sniper rifle, because it does one-shot headshot or two-shot body shot. So it is kind of like a sniper, but it is a marksman rifle. It's a DMR, you know, whatever you want to call it, whatever classification you like to give it. The same thing will actually apply. You're going to want to use the variable zooms. Same thing for assault rifles. You know, sniper scopes here. It's just all about that range you're killing someone at, and you definitely want to be playing ground war. Or if you're playing a long range map, you know, for example, Piccadilly, not one everybody likes, but if you're on like the one bus at the catwalk spawn and shooting into the other spawn, having a sniper scope on the EBR and then having some other attachments that are going to help it out. Sniper scope here, we want to go with one of the longer barrels here. Just put on a commando foregrip for a little bit of that recoil. You can have a nice stock on here. You could do some ADS if you wanted, or you could do something that's going to help out with your stability. You could use the precision comb stock here, and also you can throw on the monolithic suppressor for the damage range. Now having all these range attachments, like I said, ground war is the best for this, because the damage fall off is almost non-existent. You're going to be killing people in 2 to 3 shots across the map on ground war. It's a really nice process. So any exceptions here? The Kar 98 is basically a sniper rifle, just with that fire rate. It is really annoying, but with that being said, it has a lot higher damage. It's pretty easy to get long shots with all of the marksman rifles. The crossbow is kind of its own example. I don't know, I haven't leveled it up enough to know if it needs long shots. It does, so I do have a couple attachments for the crossbow unlocked, so I know a little bit about it. I would definitely go for the highest pound bolt, or not bolt, the arms here. So this is going to give you the most damage range and bolt velocity, so that thing is flying super true and straight. Use the regular bolt. I would not recommend any of these guys because it does take your damage down, so just use a regular bolt. Try to aim for the chest or higher. One recommendation I have is the crossbow is nasty in Warzone. It is so good in Warzone, so maybe go to there for your long shots on the crossbow. That is, like I said, just its own little example. SKS is absolutely nasty, and this thing will 2 to 3 shot at range. All these marksman rifles, pretty self-explanatory when it comes to long shots, along with the sniper rifles. You could, if you wanted to, take any, like the EBR and the Dragunov, those really high fire rates, semi-automatic, SKS included. You could take those into hardcore as well, and if you don't have them leveled up to where you have any nice scopes for them, such as the EBR or SKS, you could definitely take them in hardcore, use the iron sights, and one shot across the map all day long. But the sniper rifles, I don't even have to go into detail with them. They are long range weaponry. They're going to get you long shots naturally if you're playing slow like a normal sniper. Now if you're playing crazy, like you're trying to hit clips or something, you might not be getting long shots, but you're probably not going for gold if you're going for clips. It's kind of self-explanatory in that sense. So moving on to the final weapon category, and that is going to be the pistols. Guys, this one is definitely one I would recommend for hardcore, except for the Desert Eagle. This thing maps easily. If you got the right attachments on the Desert Eagle, such as the TAC Enforcer and the Monolithic Suppressor, this right here will get you 2 taps at a huge range. It's just absolutely insane. And for the 357, you guys could run this and get 1 taps as well to the head. Now the snake shot for this, long shot wise, is kind of weird. It doesn't really work that well going for long shots with snake shot. I just haven't really been able to figure it out what that range is. Also, adding the longer barrels on this is going to help you on all of the pistols. This is a good one for shoot house. Trying to, where the graveyard area is or the crate area is, if you can get, some decent range between you guys, you probably will get a long shot. I'm not sure the exact distance, but I do believe since they are all, secondary weapons, the range is a lot shorter than the normal weaponry. So with that being said, you could play some close range maps with these and get a decent amount of long shots for the pistols. I remember probably the hardest one for long shots was the 1911, just because of the recoil when I did it, but I've noticed recently the 1911 recoil hasn't been too bad. So maybe the X16, but most of these are pretty darn easy. All of the pistols have their own attachments to help you guys out. They all have, barrels that are going to increase your damage range. Most of them have the monolithic suppressor option for more damage range. And if you can't really get it down, you can always add a sight and go into hardcore. Most pistols in hardcore will one-shot even at range. Especially the new pistol, the Renetti, is absolutely insane in hardcore. Guys, I hope this guide does help you. It's basically an attachment guide and a game mode guide. I didn't really get you any solid gameplay, but it's kind of more of an informational video, so hopefully this does help you guys out. If you have any weapons you want specific videos for long shot wise, or just some interesting classes to try, I can make those. Just leave a comment what you like. I have most of the assault rifles already made in a sniper variant. I know we did the Kilo. I don't know if we did the Kilo actually, but we definitely did the FAL sniper variant. We did the M4 sniper variant. We did the FR556 sniper variant. We did the Odin sniper variant. We did the Scar. We did the AK. I think we have like 3 or 4 assault rifles left to do sniper variant videos on. And there's a lot of ways you can change up weapons in this game. But guys, that's going to do it for the video here today. Like I said, I know there wasn't any gameplay, but hopefully you got some value out of the information. And if you did, be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you're new. Check out the sponsors and equipment in the description below. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.